On November the 2nd, 1917, 2 days after the conquest of Beersheba, the Foreign Secretary Arthur James Balfour wrote what he called a declaration of sympathy with Jewish Zionist aspirations. This was to become a most crucial document in the history of Palestine. The key sentence was, "His Majesty's government view with favor the establishment in Palestine of a national home for the Jewish people." News of the Balfour Declaration found the British forces advancing northward. By November 15th, Jaffa had fallen, and the troops turned eastward toward the Judean mountains.
The attack came most severely on Saturday, but by Saturday night, all was quiet. We managed to see the Turkish soldiers, whose retreat, incidentally, was remarkable. The Turkish soldiers didn't riot at all. As they retreated, all they asked for was ekmek, bread.
The outfit that was nearest Jerusalem at that particular time was the 50th London Division, made up of Cockneys very largely. And they had gotten ahead of their lines of supplies. They were short of food. And one officer, an old friend of mine, Major Vivian Gilbert, had a cook and a sergeant who were awfully good at foraging. And he got out a map and showed them where he thought there was a village a couple of miles away, and he told them to try and find the village and see if they could get any food.
As the mayor of Jerusalem, Hussein Salim el-Husseini, was leaving the city, waving a white flag, he met 2 British sergeants who had strayed. What were they really looking for? There are several versions to this story. Menashe Eliashah, as a small boy, had accompanied the delegation of surrender.
They were informed that a surrender was taking place, in which the keys of the city were to be handed over to the conquering army. But the first thing they asked for was matches. This scene remains in my memory to this day. For 10 days they had cigarettes, but for 10 days they had no matches and no way of smoking. To see these 2 soldiers ignoring the events around them, just to see them smoking, is something I'm unable to forget.
He was a Muslim. He was the Muslim mayor, and he was coming out to surrender Jerusalem to Allenby's army. And the first representatives of Allenby's army that he met were the company cook and the sergeant. And he turned the keys of Jerusalem, or his surrender, actually, over to the cook. And the cook said, "I don't want any keys to any holy city. What I want is eggs for my officer."